So 3 things I had to let go of past the age of 50 that made me not only healthier, but also exercising and staying healthy more fun. What are those 3 things? Well, the first thing is that it's not about comparison of yourself to others. So let me tell you a really fast story around it. So I've been a competitive bike racer for 20 years and also played football in college. Sports was to some degree about winning. And so for me, my measure of fitness was, and how I got ready for fitness and how I approached it was around sport related, where it was about winning the game, winning the bike race, lifting the most weight, who could you outlift in the gym, gaining more weight. It was about high intensity. And so consequently, when we'll go out and race, I'm still actively competing in Spartan races and bike races and things like that. The measure of whether it was successful or wasn't successful was how I did in the actual event. Well, fast forward, what you learn is, and this is what I learned during a time frame when I went through an eye issue and couldn't really do the same level of training. So it was a different situation. And so what happens is when you compare yourself in that way, what you realize over time is that you could show up for a race and there could be a lot of people there and you could win the race, but actually ride pretty poorly compared to what you're capable of. And other times there were 2 other people that could show up, and if they were the right people, you were in for a fight, and you could ride amazing with 3 people, better than you ever have, and still lose. But you can also win the race, beat a whole lot of people, and ride really bad. So the first thing to let go of is the competition piece with others. It's really about your effort and your effort relative to what you're capable of. That's one, letting that go and then recalibrating it. The number 2 thing that you have to jettison past the age of 50 that I have found is that comparing yourself to your best. Now, I've raced for a long time, I've trained for a long time, and it is natural to compare yourself when you're at your best. My best wattage output on the bike when I was 15 years ago, doing a lot of racing, when I was doing 30 some odd races a year, well, that was where I put out some of my best numbers. Well, as you get older, those numbers harder and harder to hit, and your life experiences and life focus changes over time. So, when you're 20, you're probably going to put out more power, you're going to be stronger, you're going to put out more watts. So don't compare yourself to the best you've ever been, because it's just a measure of frustration. Though it's normal, it's just going to frustrate you and make the things and where you are right now less fun. So what I would tell you, let go of your best and compare yourself to yesterday and its trajectory. Where are you headed? Where are you headed relative to yesterday? Are you getting better? Are you making progress? Are you making the most of what you're doing right now with the time you have, the resources you have, with whatever things you're struggling with physically, wherever you are? If you're busy with the business and the kids and the family, and there's had been very little time to do these things, well, you're not going to put out your best, but you can be better than you were yesterday. And it's about, a lot of times winning is just showing up, not about your best numbers. So comparing that. And then last but definitely not least is, it's not about the metrics. It's about sorry, there's a steep hill all of a sudden. And I didn't shift down, so I'm like 4 gears too high. And it's actually a little bit pitchy. Anyhow, I digress. So the other thing is, fitness is not about the metrics, the weight you push, the variables. Many times those things are dictated by what we did when we were 20 years old. Well, as time passes, it's more about having balance. It's about being more healthy and ultimately letting go of the variables and having more about how do you feel? How good does your body feel? How much energy do you have? What can you do? And that's a different metric. That usually takes mobility, it takes strength, it takes posture, it takes eating well. It's a much more balanced viewpoint that actually makes you generate energy, makes you feel optimistic, and makes you capable. If there's a physical activity you want to be able to do, well, there are variables, posture, body control, that you want to address so that you could do those things without getting injured. And a big portion of that is definitely movement skill, and that's definitely a different metric than I lived with when I was younger, back in the football days. And I actually went through an issue myself with getting over a back thing. It had a lot to do with not being balanced and not necessarily moving well, and having a body that, though I was fit by football standards, I wasn't fit by life standards and what I was doing at that time. And so it does change. So measuring your fitness with how do you feel and how capable are you? Those are the 3 things that you want to let go of, and those are the 3 things you want to focus on and change so that you do, in fact, feel good, that you can be active, do the things you want to do, that you love to do, and you feel great. Exertional effort, giving effort your best relative to what you're capable of at the time in the life circumstances. 2, not comparing yourself to others, comparing yourself to you, having different metrics, and working towards what you want to do, having a more broader scope on what you're looking at in regards to fitness. How do you feel? And definitely in the number 2 thing of comparing yourself to where you are now with the resources you have now versus the best you've ever been at any time in your life, even when you were 20 years old. Now, that having been said, don't give yourself credit. Don't buy into you can't get it done when you get older, because you can. Doesn't mean go easy on yourself. It means go after what you are capable of in your best effort. And it's about what you put out, not what other people do, but what you do with what you're capable of. So anyway, thanks for listening to me. Those are the 3 things, everybody, and keep on thriving. Hope you're out enjoying this beautiful day. Bye.